your view seems to be to be totally with those members of the opposition party who says it's a strategy to raise last mile revenue targets. What do you make of this kind of opinion?
I am not a party man. That is number one. So I'm not in any opposition. I'm here as a stakeholder, a Nigerian stakeholder, a Lagos. I'm a Lagosian. I've lived in Lagos for years, and so I'm talking from my own point of view. But we have to be. Let's be frank. Let's look at the laws. We are not here to say Lagos State is doing something bad. I agree that yes, we need sanity on our roads. The laws are good, but people who are not carried along in these laws. And there are so many things that are not in place that the government should have. The awareness, so many people are not aware about these laws.
Let me come in here because we had the Attorney General of Lagos State here, more or less like some kind of enlightenment campaign, so that Lagosians will know that there exists a body of laws regulating your traffic conduct on the highways. And as you rightly said, it's not as if these laws are entirely new, which the Attorney General also said. But don't you think we really need these laws, knowing full well that Lagos on the road is almost a crazy affair? I mean, what would make someone drive with a one-head lamp? What would make anyone drive against traffic and cause chaos and also maybe cause life?
You see, like I said, we agreed that there is a need to sanitize the roads. There is a need for us to have laws to guide road users and to protect road users. But where there is no awareness...
But it's not an excuse.
It's not an excuse. No, we are talking about the new laws. Some people are not aware of what this law says. For instance, it talks about eating while driving. Some people have interpreted that to say, it means I can't chew gum. It means I can't have a snack or what have you, because they are not aware.
But wait, sorry, do you see it as being ambiguous?
Not ambiguous in the sense of the word, but creating the awareness for people to be aware of what you are doing. We have so many ways that this awareness can be created for stakeholders to be aware of what the government is doing. But they've not done that. I listened to the Commissioner of Transport, and he said they are going to send people on training. And I begin to ask myself, I thought training was supposed to come in before you bring in these laws. Why are you bringing in? What's the rush? Why bringing in the laws before you send people for training? These people are supposed to be trained so that when situations happen, they know what to do, they know how to handle, rather than pursue law offenders or law breakers and jumping all over the place.
Perhaps maybe the training has to do with those who would monitor the offenders so that you don't have to run in front of a moving vehicle in an attempt to stop someone who has flouted the law. But this is Lagos. We've seen people put coolers of food right there on the seat while they drive, the scoop food into their mouth. We've seen that in Lagos. We've also seen people carry children on the front seats here in Lagos, especially when people leave their lanes and drive against traffic for no just reason, causing chaos. If the law has always been there, but the penalties are not that, should I say, spelled out, isn't that why people flout the law? But now that we have a clear-cut penalty for those who would flout such laws, it seems that we're on our way to getting sanity on our roads.
Again, the laws are good. It's meant to bring sanity to society. But where the implementation of the law is questionable in the sense that, number one, why would somebody drive on a one-way street? Because there is traffic. And when you get to the end of the traffic, you find out that there is almost nothing concerning the traffic. But you have law enforcement officers who are standing by, not paying attention to why there is traffic buildup, but concerning themselves with people that are breaking the law. Again, you look at the issue of the stakeholders. In my own opinion, you even have more offenders with the commercial vehicles than private vehicles. For every private vehicle that passes a BRT lane or drives on a one-way traffic, you probably have 9 commercial buses that have gone through that route. But because, like some people have said, that a quarter of the commercial buses in Lagos belongs to the law enforcers, they turn a blind eye. When these buses speed past, they turn a blind eye. But when a private vehicle comes by, It's a private vehicle that has broken the law, and it is private vehicle that is held responsible.
From all that you have said, you've indicated your interest in the traffic law, but you are saying that there should be a balance. What are the balances that you are proposing?
Number one, signages. Let it be spelled clearly. A one-way street, a street that is not one-way. So you already know that when you get on a street that has a sign that says it's a one-way street, you are breaking the law.
So let me come in there. Someone said, from the FIRC, that some roads, they do not need signages. That you should, if you had gone to a driving school, you should know that certain roads are one way. Is it?
That is true, but not everybody that drives on Lagos Street is as educated as you would want them to be.
So we should bring it down to their level?
No, bringing it down to the level by putting up these signages. Let people know this is a one-way street. That is number one. Number two, we need to have a database. You have database of vehicle license. If you go to register your vehicle, your database is there. If you renew your driving license or you renew your vehicle license, your database is there. Let's have those databases so that when a first offender or somebody makes, offense on the road, you check. So you don't just criminalize him for, driving recklessly. Number three, our law enforcement agents should be educated more.
Are you saying they're not educated?
They are educated, but more needs. You see, you can't have too much of everything. They need to also be enlightened more on how. For instance, we had a situation in Ajao Lekki with a woman who was arrested and what have you. The question is, if there was an offense, why did this man jump into the fray? Because if we had all these logistics in place, you probably take her driving license, you probably take her vehicle license, and she served a notice to say, look, this is your offense, rather than jump in front of moving vehicles or chase moving vehicles. When
we talk about, sorry, let's quickly bring this in before we go for a break. This is Lagos, and we live in Lagos. Are we saying that there are some streets, without signs, there's no way you will know that there are streets that are one-way streets?
I'll give you an example.
Again, someone is saying that if you say that people are not aware of this law, this is Lagos, where they also have what you want to call a traffic radio. So if you're a driver, you just want to know something about the law, then you should also ask questions, because the Attorney General is on this matter. Because for now, some say there seems to be some kind of sanity on the roads here in Lagos. Isn't that novel?
Sanity on the roads of Lagos is not just because of this new law.
Oh, tell us why.
It's been building up. For instance, when the law over seat belts came on board, when I get into the vehicle with you and you are the driver, even if you forget, I remind you. I say, hey, put on your seatbelt, because I know it's also for my safety. So where safety is concerned, people get involved. That's why I'm talking about creating the awareness. When people are aware that, look, this thing is not to muzzle us or to kill us, it's for our safety, they flow with you. But when they are not aware, you get into some streets in Shomolu or Surulere, you probably will not know they are one-way streets until you've driven into those streets and somebody gets in front of you. And I'm telling you the truth.
And that's why we need the signs.
That's why we need the signs. The signs should be there to indicate, look, this is a one-way street.